Right folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video where I make stuff and ramble some pish. It's probably the only way to quantify that. But if you can hear some dogs panting in the background right now, that's because it's stupid hot and it's due to stay stupid hot all week. Which is not ideal because none of us fare particularly well in the heat. Anyway, hot weather aside, on the 8th and 9th of August I will be trading on the British Deer Society stand at Moy Country Fair again. So pretty much for the entire month of July I'll be making stock for that. Game fair aside, I would also like to make a decent amount of stock for the winter months. Our busy time of year starts in September, so it would be good to have a pretty solid inventory built up before then. So it's going to be a busy few months of making things. The plan for this month is to make a bunch of antler keyrings and some wild boar tusk keyrings, which is new, and kind of like a display rack to display them on. Yeah. Birch bark candles that I've been working on. Potentially some more deer tallow and rosemary candles. I need to dry out a bunch of foliage for selling, like, you know, wee dried arrangements. And finish a writing project that I've been working on for a good while, but I don't know if that'll be done in time for Moy. To get that done in time for Moy, I think I have to have that done by the 22nd at the very latest in order to send it off to be printed. So that might not happen. It might happen though. We'll dig deep, we'll try, but if it doesn't get done in time for Moy, it doesn't get done in time for Moy. At least it'll be done, because it's a project I've been thinking about for like 2 years and I've just finally got around to doing it. But I need to final draft it all, and it's a lot of writing. It's basically a book, so yeah, might not get done. But I could sit here and talk about it some more, but that really accomplishes nothing, so I may as well get to it and make something. I decided to make a display for my keyrings today. I did make one last year, but I made it in a bit of a hurry, and as such, it wasn't very good. I got part of an old fold-out table off Jock from the shoot, and I hammered a bunch of 3-inch nails into it to hang said keyrings on. And let me tell you, I spent the entire game fair wincing every time a kid ran past my table, because it was just the perfect height for gouging a bairn's eyes out. That stress took a few years off my life, so this year I've decided to make something a bit safer, a bit taller, and a lot nicer looking. I got some reduced to clear decking at the builder's merchants for like £7 a plank, and Rod's been making stud walls in his new house, so he let me pinch a couple of offcuts. I'm using round hooks this time. They're a whole lot less pointy and lack the hunger for corneas that the nails had. I actually ended up being 7 hooks short, but that's okay, they get delivered in like 3 days, so I've just ordered some more. Now I would have filmed the whole process step by step and like walked you through it, but honestly it was far too hot for that nonsense, and time is scarce. It's due to be between 20 and 29 degrees all week, and honestly I'm not here for it. I do not cope well with this weather, and evidently neither does Buck. The filming aspect really got put on the back burner towards the end. I just wanted to get back in the shade, but here's a quick look at it. Looks pretty good if I may say so myself. It's sturdy and it's got a little weight to it to prevent it cowping, but you can still lift it with one hand, so it's not too heavy. I'll give you a better look at it later in the video, but right now I need to go at work. I'll catch you tomorrow for making some antler keyrings. Good morning, it's actually the day after I spoke to you last. I didn't make any antler keyrings yesterday because I went fishing. Now if I had £1 for every time I didn't do something because I went fishing, I wouldn't be very well off, because we've had opportunities to go this year because of the wind. But basically what I'm saying is when the opportunity does arise, plans get abandoned. But yeah, went fishing, caught a taupe, which was cool, caught a weaver, which was really cool, and yeah, got some pollock for eating. So I've got 2 fish here that I'm going to have for dinner tonight. I'm going to make a pico de gallo, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of. I'm ignorant, sorry. Pico de gallo pollock, which it's basically like chopped tomatoes, onions, coriander, limes, that sort of thing. And yeah, I might make a catch and cook at some point, show you how I pair those together and all that, or how you make that, but I didn't do it this time. Just gonna get it done. I'm rambling fish, what am I trying to say? Yeah. Basically, I'm gonna do that, get the fish done, and then I will do some antler keyrings. The first time that I made antler keyrings for my online store was at my first gillies job after leaving Rum. My head keeper at the time let me use his pedestal drill and belt sander, and instead of metal findings I used the bootlaces from my wrecked tarkilas. They weren't very good, but they sold quite well, and some people have told me they still have them, which is really quite cool. I've improved them a lot since then, and they're now what I'd consider to be a staple of my store. I always try and keep at least some in stock. They did really well last year at Moy, so I'm going to make as many as I can this year. I've got 4 full red deer antlers to saw up, a decent handful of Sika antlers, and a bunch of roe deer antlers. I desperately need to go red shed hunting again next year. These 4 are the last of the red deer antlers I have that I'm willing to cut up. I do have some more, but they're either sentimental or just too good to hack up for keyrings. So there will definitely be more shed hunting videos coming to the channel next year. The display that I made the other day holds 96 keyrings. I'm saving the top rows for the boar tusks, but it would be nice to have enough to keep the rack continuously stocked throughout the game fair. I don't want it to look empty at any point. I've had a rough count of the raw antlers, and I think I have enough here to make 90 in this batch. And I've already got some available in my store, so we'll have well over 100 for definite. The wild boar keyrings are a bit more labour intensive to make, as I have to make wooden tops to set the tusks into. I probably won't start them this week. When I'm done making antler keyrings, I'm going to spend the rest of this week, and probably a good chunk of next week, working on my written project. I probably won't film a whole lot, because sitting at my laptop typing doesn't exactly make for good film. But I figured I should probably explain what my written project is, before I just abandon you to go do it. It's pretty much a book, but it's small and it's self-published, so maybe it's more of a fat zine, or zine, I don't really know how you say that. It's called Blood and Blay, and it's a little collection of 15 of my own hunting memories, immortalised in print for when I get old and start forgetting things. I have already first drafted it all, but I am a really meandering writer. I write how I talk, and I'll often leave the main story and go off on a tangent. That was my shoulder clicking. If I try and stop myself from doing that, I hit a bit of a mental block and really struggle to get myself back on track. So I find it's better just to write exactly what I think, as I think it, for my first go. The problem with this is my first drafts often end up being way longer than my final drafts, as I then go back in and scale it back or tie up said rambles so they make sense as part of the whole story. This particular project has been on the cards for like 2 years, but I've been hesitant. Because I'm writing about things that happened in my life, it's hard to know what exposition I need in order to make them make sense to folk who weren't there. And then there's the question of what exposition I actually want to share. Some of these things are quite personal, and there's a line to what I want to put out there. There's also the problem of context. Without tone being a factor, are people going to pick up on my sarcasm? And are readers possibly going to take some of the themes and language the wrong way? As you know from previous videos, my language can be quite coarse. And if you personally know me, you know that I have quite a dirty sense of humour. So then came the question, do I censor and sanitise it all, or do I leave it as it is? I tried it with one of the stories and it just felt like it wasn't mine anymore. So yeah, this book's not going to be for kids. So far I've commissioned art for the cover and interior pages, and I've done the final draft of the little prologue type piece and the first story, which is the longest out of all of them. But there's still 14 more stories that are between 2,500 and 5,000 words each, which need to be polished into something actually readable. And I need to have it done by the 22nd in order to get them printed and shipped out to me in time for the game fair. I did consider cutting 5 of the stories out to get it done in time, but realistically this little project is about preserving memories, so cutting 5 of them out to hit an arbitrary deadline that I've set in my head seems a bit silly. It would be cool to have them available at Moy, but I want to do it right, so I'm just going to have to try my best to get it all finished in the time that I've got.
I might get a bit cross-legged.
Yeah.
What gives you that idea? Just I've done it before.
Doesn't seem like there's a lot in there, Rod.
very well.
Nah. Is it a brand new one?
No, it's all.
Oh, that's probably why.
Oh shit, the touch came off. I don't know where it went.
It went up on top, just underneath. No, Rod, it was up there, just underneath the nest itself.
The fucking nest. That got them.
Oh yeah, that stirred them up. So as promised, here's a better look at my antler display rack thing. The last few hooks arrived this morning, so I was able to finish the job, and looks alright. This is what it looks like stacked up with antler keyrings, but obviously I'm saving these top 2 rows for boar tusks. But yeah, pretty full. I have some more that I haven't actually tagged yet to go on. And if I have more time and if I can get some more antlers before Moy, I'll probably make some more just to be on the safe side. But yeah, that's that. That's pretty much all I've got to say about that. So I'm going to get to typing and I'll catch in with you in a couple of days. Alright, it's been a while since I spoke to you last, and that's because I've pretty much just been working and typing and I couldn't film much of either. But yeah, spent most of last week hiding from the sun. The weather broke on Sunday night, so I've spent a lot this week catching up on the deer front. I've had a few. They're not particularly showing very well. The cover's well and truly up, and the fog hasn't been helping. Monday night was a good night. I ended up picking a bunch of wild raspberries during my stalk. I have since made said wild raspberries into a whiskey liqueur. It won't be ready to drink for a good while, but it smells amazing. I did end up going to Glasgow Angling Centre on Wednesday, and I may have accidentally bought myself an LRF fishing rod after telling myself explicitly that I wasn't allowed to buy an LRF fishing rod. To be completely fair, it was only £35, and the reel that I got for it was £12. I found them both in the clearance rack, so it's okay. And technically, I kind of needed it because we're doing the Mogsaf species hunt on the first weekend of August. So, you know, the purchase was justified. Anyway, it's actually Friday. I was going to check in with you on Monday, but at the weekend I took Buck down to the river and a clegg bit me on the temple. And yeah, by Monday it had swollen up so much with fluid that I looked like Sloth from the Goonies. Like, no joke, it wasn't bonny. It's still kinda a bit kind of squidgy, but it's mostly gone away. It was massive, so I didn't do any filming earlier in the week because of that. But yeah, I ended up flying over the hill road, got some antihistamines from the chemist, and it's gone away. So I do have some slightly bad news, hence sitting down and talking to the camera. I'm not going to get my project printed in time for Moy, which is annoying because I was probably going to get it finished. I've been at it for literally the last 2 weeks, pretty much. Not full weeks, obviously. I've been dicking around doing other things, but I went for it. I almost got it done. I've got a couple more stories just to final draft. But yeah, I'm not going to get it printed. I touched base with a printing company and they have since received more projects, and now the expected that's not a word. expected delivery time is now after Moy. Now I could pay for priority printing, but that boosts the price from 170 quid up to 400 quid, and I just can't justify that. This project's already kind of a financial risk. I don't know if these will even sell. I mean, I'll probably sell a couple of them. I know I probably will because people have expressed interest. Jesus, can't speak. Yeah, it's kind of a gamble. It's not something I'm doing because I want to make a profit out of them. It's something I'm doing because I want to. It's a passion project, which sounds so wanky to say out loud. But yeah, it's all right. The Moy deadline was just a random one I thought in my head. My initial deadline was just before September, and then I thought, oh, it'd be really cool to have them on the Moy stand. I'll try and get it done sooner, and obviously that didn't work out. But I'm planning to get it done before the end of this month because I've done most of it now. I think I've got 4 stories to final draft, and that's it. So yeah, should be done by the end of this month. But right now I've got 3 weeks till Moy, and the time can be better spent making more physical products to sell in person, so that's what I'm going to do. Also, I want a break from my laptop. I am so sick of sitting, typing, looking at a screen. Like, yeah, I've been working, yeah, I've been dicking around going to the angling centre, but like, for hours I've been sitting, typing, and I hate that. So today's plan was to go to town, get everything that I needed, project-wise, life-wise. I've already done that. I didn't film it because that would be boring. And now I'm going to tie up some floral arrangements so I can hang them up to dry, and then I'm going to make like a display for displaying them on for my stall. And then, yeah, probably just get ready, because tomorrow I am going fishing again. I didn't actually film the process of making these or the display for them because, well, to be honest, putting on with the camera makes the job take twice as long, and I know that most of yous are here for hunting and fishing content, so yeah, yous don't give a rodent rectum about arranging flowers. Anyway, these are made up of a mixture of things that I've foraged, things that I've raided out of gardens consensually, and some stuff I bought in. So I bought in some ornamental grasses and stuff. I thought I was going to make 20, turns out I had enough foliage to make 24. They're all pretty much dry, but the chrysanthemums and baby's breath need a wee bit longer to dry out, hence why they're all hung up behind me here. I did have to leave a wee gap above the door so that Gigantor doesn't smack his head off them on the way past, but I'll pretty much just leave them there until the day that I'm packing up for Moy, because I want to make sure they're bone dry. So here's the display I made for them, and I'm actually pretty proud of this. This was made out of a broken IKEA crate. Well, I say broken, it was just missing this front slat and it was kind of hanging at bits. So I've reinforced it all and stained it, put slats in it, put a bit of a riser in the back there so that the ones at the back can sit higher. I'll put some before and after footage over me talking right now. But yeah, I like the way this looks. It looks professional-ish. But yeah, it holds 12, so that actually makes 24 a really good number to end up with. So like my antler display, I'm just going to keep this stocked up as they sell. Hopefully they do sell. Last year they sold really well, and this batch, in my opinion, looks way better than last year's batch. Last year they were a lot bigger and they had a lot of green in them, whereas these ones are more kind of autumnal colours, and I like that. I like the kind of oranges and beiges and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm biased. One thing I did do last year that I didn't do this year, I meant to do it, but I kind of cocked up, pardon the pun. I put cock pheasant feathers in last year's batches, and this year I was going to make them smaller, so I was like, oh, I'll put hen pheasant feathers in them. So all season when I ate a pheasant, I just saved the tail feathers, and yeah, put them aside. When it came to moving house, I was like, why did I save these? Like, what? Chuck them out. That's why I saved them. I saved them for doing this. Too late now. I don't have any pheasant feathers, and what's really annoying is I haven't seen a single dead pheasant on the road to nick its feathers since. Typical. Next time that I make them, I'm going to make sure that I put hen pheasant tail feathers in them. But yeah, I kind of want to sell these on my online store. I haven't up till now. I might do. But the problem with it is each one's different. So it's hard to photograph one and say this is kind of like what you're going to get, because each one is different. Like, I use so many different species in them, and I do it by eye. So like, I just gather a bundle up, see if it looks good, mess around with it, and then tie it up. Like, I couldn't make them look the same, obviously, because everything's different shaped, and yeah, it's hard to create a uniform product out of them. Anyway, fishing went well. Jin came with us, and between Rod and I we managed 10 species, and he actually caught most of them for a change. We had mackerel, pollock, whiting, grey garnered, tub garnered, dogfish, a tiny thornback, a cuckoo wrasse, a dragonet, and a sea stickleback. The LRF rod I bought is pretty good. As I said, I got it in a clearance rack. It's pre-loved and the tip is missing, but it works perfectly fine, and the fight a mackerel can give you on it is insane. Anyway, I've been working and editing this video up to date, so we're actually on Wednesday right now. I didn't promise that this was going to be a daily vlog or anything like that. I'm just checking in as and when I can be arsed. But today we are going to make a start, finally, on the white boar tusk keyrings. And these are going to take a few days to make. The weather, she's threatened to push down, so we're going to do this in a bit of a hurry. But basically this was an axe handle. It's made of hickory, and we're going to cut it up into slices, then fashion each slice to the top of each tusk, which is a bit time consuming, but hopefully it works. In my head it works, but yeah, we're going to get on with it because she's not looking bony. So we didn't get caught in much rain, but the midges are out in force, so I'm giving up for the day. I've got 22 of these wee blanks, and they're just rough cut, because what I'm going to do tomorrow is draw around the end of each tusk, shape the wood, and then hollow out the interior with a Dremel. I'll then put a wee eye screw in the top of the wood, and then set the tusks in with some heavy duty glue. Do you know, it probably looks like I did sweet call today besides saw up an axe handle. And that's because I spent the majority of my day helping Rod knock this big hole in his wall. Kinda got co-opted into doing that, and it took a few hours. To be fair, I did make a batch of antler keyrings this morning, like another small batch, and I spent a lot of time sawing up like the Y junctions of antlers, you know, where like the tie-in splits off the main beam. Yeah, I sawed up a bunch of them with the intention of making napkin rings out of them. Don't know if it'll work, but I'm gonna give it a go. Anyway, until it comes time to work, tomorrow is dedicated to boar tusks, for no progress will be made over the weekend as I am away at a fishing competition. This one is a Clash 1 in 5 species event. We did fish it last year and I'm pretty sure we made a video, so I'll stick it here and link it if you want to watch it. Probably won't make a video this year just because time constraints with editing, but I'll take the camera and I'll film what I can and stick it in this video. But yeah, come Monday, I need to go to town and rescue my scroll saw. Rewind a bit. I didn't explain that I have gotten a storage unit for my shop. I was looking for a workshop to run my shop out of. Couldn't find one to rent. End up renting a storage unit just to keep all the gear and stuff because I've got nowhere to keep it, which is an expense I could do without. So still looking for a workshop, working on it. But yeah, all my tools and stuff are in the nearest city, which is a pain in the arse. But Monday we'll have to go and rescue the scroll saw because it's got a Dremel attachment for hollowing out the wooden tops of the tusk keyrings. God, a mouthful of words. Anyway, yeah, if I can get them done on Monday, I'll be dead chuffed, but realistically, I think I'm going to need Tuesday as well. Wednesday, my plan is to finish my birch bark candles. Thursday's plan is just to get this video edited and uploaded, because on Thursday night we'll be heading back to Drumore for another fishing competition. This one is the Mogsaf species hunt. It's not one I've fished before and I am so excited for it because I like scratching around for different species. I think it's great fun. So yeah, weather permitting, that should go ahead, and God, I hope it does. Really excited, really quite excited for that one, if you can't tell. But yeah, should make a video if we can. If it goes ahead, we'll make a video. Anyway, yeah, in amongst all of that, I also need to work. So she's going to be a busy week. A pretty busy week. But the light broke. I got cut off in that last clip there due to technical difficulties, but I was just rambling shite, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, good morning, it's Tuesday. I know, I'm doing a really grand job of documenting this whole thing. To be fair, I did start filming the making of the tusks on Thursday, but then things kind of went tits up. I shaped the wood, and that worked quite well. Lost a few layers of skin in the process, but that's by the by. However, when it came to hollowing them out, it quickly became apparent that I do not have tools fine enough for what I was trying to achieve. The wood just kept breaking. So I tried making the walls of the hollow a bit thicker, and it just looked like shit. Honestly, it looked like the tusks were wearing the wee Russian brown furry hats. It wasn't good. So I had to come up with another plan, and a plan that could be executed within the short amount of time that I've got. That plan ended up being epoxy clay. So I ordered some, but it wasn't going to arrive until Saturday. And obviously I was away fishing the Clash 1 and 5 species on Saturday. We did okay. We caught 4 out of the 5 nominated species. Couldn't catch a taupe to save ourselves, as per usual, but we ended up in 6th place and we had a good time. That competition was supposed to be a 2-day competition, but the Sunday ended up being cancelled due to the weather, which was a shame, but actually super handy, because it gave me an extra day of doing things. However, I did spend the first half of Sunday helping Rod empty a shed and burn things, and then in the afternoon I started sculpting the tusks. The clay only has about a 40-minute working time before it starts to harden, so I was only able to get half of them done before it was time to go to work. On Monday I did the rest of them and they turned out quite good. They're really strong, which is what I was after, but the clay is a clean shade of white and obviously the tusks are not. This morning I tried to colour match them, but it didn't look great. So I decided to go with an antique bronze to match the findings, but I didn't have any bronze paint, so I made it from gold and raw sienna, and I'm not happy with them. They're so flat, and they just look dull. So I've ordered an antique bronze enamel, and it'll arrive sometime on Thursday. So it is likely I won't be able to show you the finished tusks in this video. However, there is talk of the weather cancelling the species competition this weekend, and if it does get cancelled, I hope it doesn't. I'll likely keep this vlog going over the weekend. If the competition goes ahead, however, I'm still planning to upload this on Friday night. If I don't get to show you the finished tusks in this one, I'm planning to film the game fair itself, so I'll show you then. Making things like this really is a process of trial and error, and it can be disheartening when you can't pull off what you're envisioning. The important thing is not to give up on an idea. I've saved some of the tusks, and when I have more time, I'll try again to make some with wooden tops. The next item on today's agenda was to finish these birch bark candles. Now these are made from a blend of deer tallow and British beeswax, and they're infused with oil made from the bark of silver birch. And I'm not gonna lie, they smell a little bit like germaline. No in a bad way, but they're probably a bit of a niche scent. They're a good one to sell in person, so customers can have a wee sniff and see if they actually like them. Now what I wanted to do with these was cover the amber glass in little birch trees, so that as the candle burns, it shines through like a sunset in the forest does. I initially considered using paint, but I am yet to meet a glass paint that doesn't chip off with handling. So I decided to try out vinyl for the first time, and let me tell you, this took an age to do, but I really like how they turned out. Each one is completely different, and after heating the vinyl, the design really stands up well to being handled. So good news, the species hunt isn't cancelled, but it is postponed. It was supposed to fish Friday, Saturday. It is now fishing Saturday, potentially Sunday, which is fine. It just means today is not as big a rush, which is actually quite nice. But yeah, just hopping on here to say bye, pretty much, and promote my stall, because that was the kind of whole point of this video, and I've kind of forgotten to talk about it. But anyway, the Highland branch of the British Deer Society have been kind enough to give me a space in their tent again this year. So I'll be at Moy on the 8th and 9th of August. If you want to pop by and have a blether, come on by the British Deer Society tent. I might have Buck with me, so yeah, Labrador cuddles are kind of an extra bribe for you. Jen's not so good with other dogs, so she's going to stay at my dad's, but Buck's a big friendly lump of a thing, so he might be there. But I'll put a link to where you can buy tickets in the description of this video, and a link to the British Deer Society if you want to learn more about what they do. But yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. I know I haven't posted much this summer, but we're kind of just coming into the good time of year now. Mushroom season's kind of starting to kick off, more so in Perthshire by the looks of things, but yeah, I haven't found anything yet. I found false saffron milk caps, but they weren't looking too bonny. But yeah, I hope to find some mushrooms in the next wee while. Game season isn't far away, which is cool. In September we are going to Portugal to hunt red stags and wild boar with the bow. And yeah, we've been swithering about a trip for big sharks, but we're not too sure if we're going to go or not. But yeah, plenty of videos coming is what I'm trying to say. The good time of the year for videos, for doing things is upon us. But yeah, I'm going to shut up and get this video uploaded and edited and uploaded, in whichever order that comes. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.